Welcome to Leading Beyond Limits, the podcast where we explore the extraordinary journeys and insights of remarkable leaders who have pushed the boundaries of what's possible. Your host, Angel Radcliffe, who is a digital transformation leader, author, speaker, and financial educator, will lead each episode and dive deep into the stories, strategies, and philosophies that have empowered these exceptional individuals to lead, inspire, and achieve beyond the ordinary. We're about to embark on a journey of discovery and inspiration, and together, we'll learn what it takes to lead beyond limits. So grab your cape, or at least your favorite coffee mug, because we're about to unravel the extraordinary tales of trailblazers who've turned impossible into I'm possible. Let's get started.
Hello and welcome back to The Deep Dive. You know, the energy in the studio today, it feels a little different. It feels, I don't know, intentional, maybe a bit heavy, but in a good way. It is genuinely a pleasure to be back here with you.
It is good to be back. And you're right about that weight.
Yeah.
We've got something pretty special on the table today. These scenarios are, well, they're not your typical business case studies, are they?
Yeah.
They don't come with a balance sheet attached or a nice, neat company X increased revenue by Y% conclusion.
Not at all. And that's actually the perfect segue, because usually when we do these deep dives, we're looking for answers. We're hunters.
Right. We want the takeaways.
We want the 3 things to do tomorrow morning. We want the life hack. But today feels like we're doing the exact opposite. We are not here for tips, tricks, or hacks.
No. Today isn't about efficiency. It's about pausing. It's about looking at those gray areas of leadership, the ones that usually get glossed over in the textbooks because, frankly, they're uncomfortable.
Uncomfortable is putting it mildly. To kick this off, I want to just throw the central provocation right out there. It comes from the scenario, specifically the Leading Beyond Limits piece.
Okay.
It's just one sentence, but it stopped me cold. I had to read it twice. Here it is. If your day feels easy, you're probably not leading.
Oof. It lands like a punch, doesn't it?
It does. And I have to be honest with you, and I think I speak for a lot of people listening right now on a very human level. I want the easy day.
Of course. We all do.
Yeah. I crave the easy day. I want the inbox to be empty, the fires to be out. I want everyone happy and nodding. That feels like success. But this statement, it's telling me my desire for comfort is actually a failure condition.
Failure condition might be a bit harsh, but it's certainly a red flag. A warning light on the dashboard. And that is exactly our mission for this deep dive.
Oh.
We're exploring this leadership micro scenario called Leading Beyond Limits.
Right.
It's part of a whole series designed to be a forge, specifically refining the decision-maker's edge. The whole idea is 52 weeks of these kinds of high-stakes decisions.
A forge. That is a very specific visual. Heat, pressure, hammering something into shape. It is not a spa day.
No.
You don't go to a forge to relax.
Exactly. Don't go into a forge to get comfortable.
Yeah.
You go there to be refined, to be hardened. And the goal of our conversation today is to really examine the tension in that quote you just read. We need to unpack why comfort is called a trap and why the absence of struggle often indicates an absence of actual leadership.
Okay, I'm going to push back a little here. Let's play devil's advocate for a second. If your day feels easy, you're probably not leading. Why are those mutually exclusive? Why can't I just be really good at my job? Why can't I have high competence, a great team, and therefore have a smooth Tuesday? Why does it have to be hard to count?
Well, you can be really good at your job and have a smooth Tuesday. No one's arguing against competence. But the distinction the scenario is making, and it's a critical one, is the difference between managing and leading. And they are not the same sport. They're not even played on the same field.
Okay, break that down for me, because on a resume or in a job description, we kind of lump them together. Manager, leader, it's all the same bucket.
Think about what makes a day easy. Usually it means things are running according to plan. The processes work. The team knows what to do. You're answering questions you already know the answers to.
You're pulling from precedent.
Exactly. You're referencing a policy you wrote 3 years ago. That is managing. That is maintaining the status quo. It's keeping the ship on course in calm waters.
And there's immense value in that. We need ships to stay on course. If no one manages, the ship sinks, payroll doesn't happen.
100%. We are not saying management is bad. We're saying it isn't leading. The scenario, specifically drawing from this idea of the edge of discomfort, identifies comfort as the trap. It says, growth does not happen in the safety of what we already know.
So if I'm totally comfortable, I'm just operating within my existing competence. I'm playing a song I've already memorized.
You got it. You aren't composing anything new. You're cruising. You're safe. But you aren't moving anything forward. Leadership, by definition, implies movement.
Taking people from here to there.
Right, and there is usually a place we haven't been before. That journey is inherently uncertain. If you know exactly how the day is going to go, you aren't changing anything. You're overseeing what already exists.
This brings up that concept of the edge that's mentioned in the scenario notes.
Right, the edge. The text says growth happens at the edge of where we feel a bit out of our depth.
I love that phrasing, out of our depth. It's such a visceral feeling.
Oh.
It's that moment in a meeting where someone looks at you for the answer and you realize, I don't actually have a precedent for this.
Yes.
There's no binder on the shelf for this problem. I can't Google this.
That heartbeat skip, that little flush of heat, that is the edge.
Yeah.
And for most of us, our instinct, our biological imperative really is to back away from that edge immediately. We want to retreat to the center where we're the expert.
Where we're safe.
Where we're safe. But the scenario argues that the moment you retreat, you stop leading. You start managing again. You start protecting your ego instead of the future of the project.
It's scary, though. Let's not gloss over that. Voluntarily walking away from competency. Voluntarily saying, I'm going to step into this space where I might be wrong.
Right.
That goes against everything we're taught. We get promoted for being right. You don't get an A on the test for saying, I'm not sure, let's find out.
Which is exactly why this is so difficult and why so few people actually do it consistently. Leading requires leaning in to the very things that make you want to pull back. It requires you to override that survival instinct that says, stay safe, stay quiet, stay correct.
It's interesting because the scenario describes these moments as gray areas.
Yeah.
It says explicitly there's no easy answer, no textbook solution.
And that is the environment where leadership actually lives. Yeah. If there was a textbook solution, you wouldn't need a leader. You'd need a checklist.
Or an algorithm.
Or, honestly, in this day and age, you'd need an algorithm, a really good administrator.
That's a powerful distinction. If I can look it up in a manual, I'm not leading. I'm following instructions.
Precisely. If the path is clear, you're just walking. So let's look at the psychology here. The scenario raises this question. When leaders hit these gray areas, these moments where the textbook runs out, they often freeze, they stall. Why?
Yeah, that hesitation, we've all felt it. You stare at the email, you stare at the spreadsheet, you schedule another meeting to discuss options.
Let's circle back.
Let's get more data. I'm so guilty of that. Why do we do that?
So the easy answer, the one we tell ourselves, is we need more data. We're being prudent, analytical, data-driven.
Sounds responsible.
It sounds responsible, but the scenario challenges that hard.
Mm-hmm.
It suggests the hesitation isn't usually about a lack of data.
Yeah.
You usually have 80% of the data.
Okay.
And in the last 20%, it's not coming.
So if it's not data, what is it?
It's emotional pressure. Specifically, the discomfort of three things: risk, accountability, and visibility.
Visibility. That's an interesting one to throw in there. I usually think of leaders wanting visibility.
Leaders want visibility for their successes. They don't want visibility for their gambles. In a gray area where there is no right answer, if you make a call, you are making the call. You can't point to the policy and say, I just did what the book said.
Mm-hmm.
You are exposed. You're naked in the town square.
And if it goes wrong, there's no one else to blame. It is on you.
It is entirely on you. That is the burden of the unseen. In these scenarios, you cannot prove you are right before you act. And for high performers, people who've built careers on being the smartest person in the room, that is terrifying.
Is it an identity crisis?
It's a massive identity crisis. What if I'm not the smart one? What if I'm the one who messed up?
It's like being asked to walk a tightrope without a net and everyone is watching.
And not just watching, waiting. The hesitation is a protective mechanism. We wait for more info, not because the info will actually change the decision, often it just adds more noise, but because we're trying to protect ourselves from being wrong. We're trying to buy certainty.
But you can't buy certainty in these situations. The market doesn't sell it.
No, you can't. And that's the trap. You wait, and while you're waiting for safety, the opportunity passes, or the crisis deepens. Or, maybe worse, your team learns that hesitation is the standard.
Oof, that's a heavy one.
They learn that we don't move until it's safe.
This connects right back to that idea of the leadership forge in this scenario. The goal is to bridge the gap between knowing and doing.
That gap is massive. It's the Grand Canyon of leadership.
It really is. I mean, think about how many books are on the shelves about leadership. We know the theory. We know we're supposed to be decisive. But doing it? On a Tuesday afternoon at 3 p.m. when the stakes are high, that's a totally different ballgame.
It's the difference between reading a book about boxing and stepping into the ring. You can know all the moves, the mechanics of a punch,
But then you get hit.
and then you get hit. And the pressure's on, and theory goes out the window. You revert to your training, or you revert to your fear.
So why does that gap exist? Is it just fear?
Fear is part of it, but it's also a fundamental misunderstanding of what certainty looks like. The scenario emphasizes, and this is a key theme, that responsibility shows up when certainty is incomplete.
Responsibility shows up when certainty is incomplete. That's a quote to put on the wall.
It defines the paycheck. If the answer were obvious, the responsibility would be low. Anyone could do it. A kiosk could do it. But when the picture's blurry, when you only have 60% of the information, that's when you have to summon something else. Not knowledge, but judgment, presence, self-trust.
It sounds like we need a mindset shift here. We treat leadership decisions like puzzles. Like, if I just find the right corner piece, the whole picture will click together.
Exactly. We treat it like a puzzle where there's a correct solution hidden somewhere. That's the academic model. But the scenario suggests we need to shift from solving a puzzle to navigating a storm.
I like that analogy. In a storm, there isn't one right wave to take.
No, you have to adjust constantly. You read the environment, you trust your hand on the wheel. Moving forward responsibly isn't about being 100% sure you're on the perfect line. It's about having the conviction to keep moving forward through the ambiguity.
So course correcting is part of the job, not a sign of failure.
Precisely. That's the key. If you're waiting for perfect clarity, you'll be waiting forever. And while you wait, your team is drifting. A leader who guesses wrong and corrects is often better and more respected than one who never moves because they're afraid of being wrong.
So we've talked about the trap of comfort, the fear of the gray area, the myth of certainty. Now I want to make this personal.
Let's do it.
The scenario poses a very specific, very provocative question to the listener, to you. And I want everyone listening to actually just stop for a second. Don't let this wash over you. Here is the question. What is the one leadership discomfort you are currently trying to avoid?
It's an uncomfortable question, isn't it? It invites silence.
It makes me squirm a little just reading it because instantly something pops into your head. A name, a project, a conversation.
Right. We all have that one thing, the email we haven't sent, the feedback we haven't given because we don't want to deal with the fallout.
The decision we keep pushing to next week's agenda because the data isn't perfect yet.
And the scenario urges us to just sit with that. The instinct is to say, okay, I'll fix it tomorrow. But that's not what we're doing here, is it?
Oh.
No. Don't rush to fix it. Just identify it. Look it in the eye. Why are you avoiding it? Is it because you don't know how to do it? Or is it because doing it will be uncomfortable?
That distinction is everything. Is it a lack of knowledge or a lack of willingness to be uncomfortable?
And ask yourself, what happens if you lean into it? What happens if you stop avoiding the difficult conversation, the risky innovation, or the unpopular decision?
We usually focus on the risk of acting. What if I mess up? What if the team gets mad? But we rarely focus on the risk of not acting.
The risk of stagnation, the risk of mediocrity, the risk of teaching your team that it's okay to hide from hard things.
Oof, that last one. Teaching your team that it's okay to hide. That hits home.
Leadership isn't just about the decisions you make. It's about what you model. You are the ceiling for your team's courage. If you model avoidance, you will build a culture of avoidance. If you model courage in ambiguity, you build a culture of courage. Your team is watching how you handle the not easy days.
And this brings us right back to that core sentiment from The Forge. Leadership isn't a title you're given, it's the way you decide.
It's the way you decide, not just the big strategic ones, but the micro decisions. The decision to pick up the phone instead of sending an email, the decision to speak up when everyone else is nodding, the decision to embrace the day that fights back.
We promised at the beginning of this deep dive that we wouldn't give a 3-step plan. And looking at my notes, I'm glad we didn't. Because there isn't one.
No. And it would be a disservice to the scenario to pretend there is. It explicitly states there is no textbook solution. So we aren't going to offer one. We're not going to tie a bow on this.
That feels a bit unresolved, doesn't it?
It should. Leadership is unresolved. It's an ongoing process. You don't solve leadership. You practice it. Every time you choose the hard path over the easy one.
So where do we leave the listener today? If we aren't giving them a checklist, what are we giving them?
We're inviting them to a moment of quiet reflection. Just take a moment. Think about that one area of ease in your work life right now. that place where you feel totally in control, totally comfortable.
And ask yourself, is that ease a sign of mastery? Or is it a hiding spot?
Exactly. Is it a bunker? Because if you're hiding there, you aren't leading.
It's a heavy thought, but a necessary one. And look, we know this conversation happens best in community. We don't want you to just sit alone with this.
No, absolutely not. We want to hear how this lands with you.
So we want to invite you to join the broader conversation about the scenario. Go to Angel's LinkedIn page. Participate in the discussion there. Share what came up for you. Did you identify a discomfort you've been avoiding?
You don't have to solve it publicly, but just acknowledging it, that can be a huge step. It's about making the internal external. That's the first step of the forge. And remember, the work of leadership is internal before it becomes external. You have to lead yourself through the discomfort before you can lead anyone else through it.
Be willing to be uncomfortable. Be willing to have the day that isn't easy. Because as we've learned today, that's where the leading actually happens.
That's the job.
That's the deep dive.
Thank you for tuning into another inspiring episode of Leading Beyond Limits. If you enjoyed today's conversation and want to hear more from our incredible guests, don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review us on your favorite podcast platform. Your feedback means the world to us. And if you have a remarkable leader in mind who you'd like to hear on our show or any questions and comments, feel free to reach out to us. You can find our contact information in the show notes. Remember, leadership knows no bounds, and with the right insights and determination, you too can lead beyond limits. Until next time, keep reaching for the stars and leading with purpose.
At Arizona State University, we're bringing world-class education from our globally acclaimed faculty to you. Earn your degree from the nation's most innovative university. Online. That's a degree better. Learn more at asuonline.asu.edu.
Big news! Wayfair's President's Day clearance is on now, and you can score tons of huge deals. Like Wayfair's best deals since Black Friday. Right now through February 16th, you can score up to 70% off everything home at Wayfair. Like up to 50% off mattresses with fast and easy shipping straight to your door. Plus amazing flash deals on President's Day. Shop Wayfair's President's Day clearance now through February 16th.
Wayfair, every style, every home.